Welcome all of you for today's lecture. Last time we have seen the three reactive intermediates: carbonium ions, carbanions, carbon nitrines, and today we are going to look at the free radicals. Now free radicals are the species and which are quite reactive. If you talk about carbon free radicals, then carbon free radicals, they have 7 electrons around carbon. So, 1 electron is less, so it will try to gain 1 electron to complete its octet, and the tetrahedral geometry of this radical is well known, and the reactions of free radicals are also termed as chain reactions because they are difficult to control. Sometimes radical scavenging agents are added to stop the reaction, and the quantum efficiency is very high for this reaction. Now today we will see generation, then the stability part also we have to talk, and then the reactions pertaining to these radicals. So first of all, generation, there are two methods, as I said earlier, thermal and photochemical method. This is thermal method, the other one is photochemical method. Homolysis of a bond is the basis for generation of free radical. Now this bond is equally shared by 2 electrons from each chlorine atom. Similarly, it is getting dissociated and it is forming 2 free radicals. Similarly, this nitroxyl radical and alkoxy radical is generated from this compound. If you look at the stability, then primary, secondary and tertiary, this is the trend for stability. Another stabilization is by the virtue of resonance. So resonance stabilized radicals are known, say this benzyl radical, allyl radical, these are more stable because they enjoy the resonance stabilization. On the contrary, if you look at the radicals like this, even this phenyl radical will be same. So this is more stable than the sp3, sp2 and sp. So state of hybridization matters. sp3 the radicals are more stable than sp2 than sp. Now here you can show the delocalization. Once again you have to use fish hook arrows. I'll just draw it nicely. It has to start from here, and so you can draw the resonating structure here, so and so on. For this you have to use aromatic rings for the same purpose, and you can have this double bond here, double bond here, double bond here, and once the radical is introduced to the ring, you can show the delocalization further. So stability is resonance stabilization is there, but when it comes to the hybridization, sp3 are more stable than sp2 than sp. Okay. Now the reaction which is basis for this is the well known reaction of halogenation of methane. The reaction won't stop at this stage, it goes up to CCl4 if you don't interrupt. For this you have to trap the reaction, you have to quench the reaction with certain quenching agents like quinone and all other things which are functioning as radical scavenger, and you can stop the reaction. The characteristic of this free radical reaction is it involves 3 steps. Chain initiation. So here I have written chain initiation is when this is heated or exposed to sunlight, it will form 2 chlorine radicals. When that interacts with methane, it will form methyl radical and HCl goes off. Then this methyl radical can react further with chlorine gas and it forms methyl chloride and Cl dot. So that is propagation, and this Cl dot, 2 Cl dots combines and forms chlorine, that is termination. Even 2 methyl radicals can form ethane, that is also termination. So chain initiation, propagation, termination. Another example I will tell you, that is the addition of HBr in presence of H2O2 to alkene. That is also another peculiar example of chain reaction or free radical reaction, because there the mechanism is radical mechanism. I will just put one example on that and then we will move to the other reactions. Okay. The reaction what I was talking about is, I will take simple example to begin with, H2O2, and then this is 1 bromo propane. This is addition of HBr across double bond and it is against the Markovnikov's rule. So once again here homolysis of these forms 2 hydroxyl radicals. Now these 2 hydroxyl radical interacts with HBr, forms water and bromine. Now this interacts with and finally this has to take a proton from HBr. So you get this. So chain initiation, propagation, and finally you can terminate the reaction. So that is how the chain reaction goes. Now moving on to the next example, that is the bromination of alkane. Bromination is more selective than chlorination, maybe because of atomic size of bromine. Now here photolite is there, so bromine will undergo homolysis and it will form Br radical. So Br and then homolysis, which is initiated by, that is the first reaction. Second step is abstraction of proton, because this leads to the formation of secondary radical, and what is going off? HBr is going out. Then this radical interacts with your Br radical and it will form so proton abstraction is must, because this proton can give rise to secondary radical, the other 2 protons can give rise to primary. So secondary is more stable. So that is how the proton abstraction step is vital here. The kinetics are same, it has got high quantum efficiency, phi will be in more than 10 raised to 3, sometimes 10 raised to 6 also. So that is there. Then Next example is NBS, the allylic bromination, the well known reaction. Now here the allylic compound is there. This is your cyclopentene. Now these are allylic carbons, so you can select any one, no harm. And NBS, I will put it here, NBS, N-bromosuccinimide. This is the compound. Now the role of peroxide. Now this is peroxide. Yeah, this one is peroxide. Peroxide will form two alkoxy radicals. That is first step. Either it is catalyzed by heat or photolight. So that is first step. Second step is this OR dot will abstract a proton and it will form. Then this should abstract a, I will put N-bromosuccinimide this side just to show that this is there. So this forms the compound, the product, and this N dot will take up proton from alcohol. So this will ultimately become succinimide. So that is byproduct. Now this proton is given by ROH, which ROH is generated in situ from this kind of reaction. So that is there. If you use say methyl group here, then a little rearrangement takes place and you get the rearranged product. Here HBr, and once again the alkoxy radical is generated from this homolysis, and this alkoxy radical and now it is the addition of HBr across the double bond. So once again it will form that the same reaction pathway what we have written for propene, the same is applicable here. So I will put it this side, the other side is wet. Yeah. Initially this will form two alkoxy radical. Let us say this one, homolysis, and then the alkoxy radical interacts with HBr. It forms alcohol and bromine radical. Now this bromine radical should interact with your alkene. Now there are two ways. Either bromine is attaching to this carbon or this carbon, but the chances are more because you are leading to the formation of tertiary radical, and then subsequently this takes up proton in workup CH3 and then H. Now this proton is provided by ROH. So that is how alkoxy radical is also there in the chain, and it will be two isomers are formed. If I write hydrogens, it will be more appropriate. Here hydrogen is beneath, here hydrogen is cis and trans. So two compounds are formed depending upon the approach. Okay. Now the general reactions of free radical. First reaction is abstraction of proton. Abstraction of proton, in this case the benzylic proton is there. So Br dot can simply abstract the proton, and you get radical here, and second Br will combine and you will get this. Addition is just simply you have to show the fish hook arrows and you get this. Combination and disproportionation. Now these are combination reaction. Two bromine radicals, they are forming bromine molecule, two methyl radicals forming ethane. The CH3 and Br dot, they are combining to form CH3Br, but these two ethyl radicals, they form ethane and ethylene. So we'll put that thing. Yeah, I'll put the two radicals across each other or in front of each other. Now we know that I'll just put H here. So if this H combines with, so this molecule becomes ethane because it is getting a proton which is necessary for completing the octet of carbon, and the other part becomes ethylene. So this is known as disproportionation reaction. One is gaining proton, the other one is losing proton. So one is forming ethane, the other one is forming ethylene. So that is disproportionation reaction. One more type is rearrangement. So we have seen cationic, anionic rearrangements. In the same way, there are radical catalyzed rearrangement reactions. So one reaction is shown with pinene or beta pinene to be precise. Now here these two radicals combine and there will be a radical here. Now this bond breaks down homolytically and you will get a double bond here and a radical here. Now this is tertiary radical, so stability is not a problem, and then CCl4 provides the chlorine. Now here I will just put CCl4. So ultimately this becomes the chloride comes here and CCl3 goes off. That CCl3 can interact with another pinene molecule, and that is how the reaction goes on. Okay. Now this is all for today. We have to do one more topic from this chapter, that is neighboring group participation. Maybe next lecture we will finish that, and then we will have to go for the paper solving. During that I will revise few things if necessary. If queries are there, you can post them so that in the revision you won't be having any problem. Okay. Thank you very much.